Recording now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on what you need to know about traveling in the COVID-19 world. I'm Tim Ryan, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County, and I'll be your host. Our presenter today is Edyta Satchell. More on Edyta in just a minute. First, some brief information on SCORE. There's over 320 offices and 11,000 volunteers nationwide, and we're part of the Small Business Administration. SCORE Fairfield County has over 130 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. We offer three primary value-added services to small business owners. One, free one-on-one counseling, mostly via Zoom these days, or could be telephone or email. Two, educational workshops and webinars, over 150 per year. And number three, extensive resources on our website, including a network of subject matter experts at your disposal and templates to aid you in your business plan development. Some useful information about today's event. If you have a question, please use the chat window at any time during the presentation. It is located in the lower part of your screen. Our webinar will end at 1 p.m. to respect your time. The session is being recorded, and the link to the recording will be available at fairfieldcounty.score.org within the next couple of days. Now our speaker. Edyta comes to us today as the founder of Satchell Global, an organization dedicated to healthy travel and wellness, who is a pioneer in creating travel wellness for corporations and frequent travelers. She is a renowned travel industry executive with more than 20 years of global leadership experience at some of the world's most powerful B2B travel brands. She is a certified health coach and also certified in oncology aesthetics, and of course, a small business owner herself. And I hope she'll tell us a little bit more about her business model. Welcome, Edyta. It's all yours now.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this opportunity and me being able to share my knowledge with all of you guys. So what we will be talking today about is travel. And travel as it helps us to build our business. So I'm looking at this slide and I'm thinking, you know, this presentation is perfect for all of you who are small business owners who have to tackle that whole thing about, should I travel, should I not? You know, how can I get myself ready? I'm stressed out, I'm frustrated. You know, I'm a people manager. I don't know how to help them, but I have to grow my business. My business depends on travel. Or I want to simply go on vacation, right? Or maybe I'm the one of the people who is just about thinking about rescheduling my trip, you know, next month during the holiday season. So this is the presentation which is perfect for you guys and all of you who are on the call today. And we have a choice today. We can do whatever we've been doing, which, I don't know, some of us probably did something. Some of us did nothing and stayed where we are. And we can educate ourselves on what we can do, what we cannot. So a little bit about myself. I help business owners, I'm a small business owner myself, to implement wellness and travel wellness services and programs so that you can grow your business. You can go beyond what you've been doing today and have, you know, healthy, empowered, you know, employees who have their life-work balance, who are happy and achieve great results. And they work for you and they are proud to work for you because you have those, you know, great programs. Here are a couple of quotes for my clients who I've been working with during COVID, during this interesting time. And they were, you know, happy with the services I provided to them, my company provided to them. I helped them to give them that level of confidence. They can travel, they can conduct business. As you can see, Rachel Claus even said, I can finally, you know, make money. You know, I'm not in the red anymore. I'm in the black and I'm making money. I can see my clients. I know how to do it. I'm also a certified health coach and certified in oncology aesthetics, which means I can support clients who are cancer survivors when I work with them. And I service and I help three main groups, which is the small, mid-sized companies to help implement their travel programs, wellness programs, educate their employees, but also sometimes people come to me and they say, Edyta, we don't have a lot of people traveling, but we have that one annual convention we go to travel to, and this is where I help groups as well. Even if you think about family reunion, it's a small group, church groups, training, conferences, different type of events. And I work one-on-one with frequent travelers as well, or even during this time now, when people are rejuvenating, getting healthy, getting into the wellness, they are trying to get up to get into how do you say it, shape to be in their best shape or whatever, right? I mean, especially now when people were not traveling, they're trying to go back to the office and look and feel what's important, feel their very best and be energized again, be productive, and perform at their very best levels. All right, so what are we going to cover today? Today we will cover what's happening, how travel has changed. So before COVID and after COVID or during COVID, what you need to know to get ready to travel, what to do and think about when you are already traveling, right? And for all of us who are running our businesses, 5 easy steps to get your company travel ready, what you need to know about that. So let's talk about how has travel changed. When we think about travel, and even, when you think about travel before COVID, we were already a little bit anxious, stressed out. We had to get ready, get up probably early in the morning. There is tension, there is anxiety. You need to go and sign a contract. You need to go and do other things with your clients, entertain them, and so on. Stress is dangerous and anxiety is dangerous. That impacts our health and lowers our immunity. When our immunity is lowered, then it, sort of the next chain, reaction chain is our health. Our health, poor health impacts our performance. And now this is in the normal circumstances, under normal circumstances, not a pandemic travel, right? Now we have, COVID, and how much that has changed and impacts us and our performance when we do it. So when you even think about the leisure travel, in the past we were traveling, we didn't think. Sometimes people got on the plane and just traveled from point A to point B. It was easy. We were traveling with ease. It was almost unstressful in certain situations, and we didn't think about contamination zones. We didn't think about anything, our health too much. We just wanted to travel, enjoy ourselves. Business travel, for a lot of, corporations, companies, small size, medium sized companies, business travel, many of you even now may have travel agents. So all happened was he or she called your employees, called a travel agent, or booked it himself or herself. Trips were very easy to justify. Hey, I need to go and meet a client. I want to go and see this, do that, go to an event. Very easy. Go work, do whatever you need to do, right? Don't let anxiety was over, closing a deal, signing a new contract, entertain a client, be there for them. That's what we're stressing about. When we think contamination zones, what? I never thought of that, right? I never thought about this. And when we traveled, we combined travel, business travel with leisure travel. That's what we call the bleisure in the travel industry. And also oftentimes we took our family members with us. So what does it look like now? What's changed? My goodness. So all the anxiety which we had around travel, now it's actually a little bit more than what it was before, because now it's the pandemic. We worry, we are stressed out. We think twice before we think about leisure travel, short-term planning now. We are not planning 60 days in advance, right? There are some certain travel limitations. We can travel to certain places where we cannot. We need to, even to our family, we need to justify our leisure trip. But what we started to look at is the travel wellness. The travel wellness. When we think about travel, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to take a flight. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to travel overseas. Travel may be a spa weekend when it comes to leisure with your family and friends. Spa may be a reunion with your best girlfriends or boyfriends, your best pals. Now we're thinking about travel wellness programs, how to look and feel, your very best, how not to catch the things we don't want to catch or bring the souvenirs from our vacation. Business travel. Now, when we look at the corporate world, when we even looking at medium-sized companies, small-sized companies, there is a complicated or much more complicated trip approval process. It's not that an employee says, hey, I want to travel to this event or that event or whatever, now they have to justify it. Oftentimes what I've seen working with companies, the approval comes from the top, from the person number one in the entire company, no longer, the mid-level, managers, but from the top. Do it yourself is no longer possible. Employers need to know where their employees are. They need to close monitor that their employees, travel trips, where they travel, but not only where they travel, but also how they travel. Which airline are they traveling with? Different things which are being kept in mind, and there is a totally new reporting system that is being created now at different, for different sizes of companies today. Travel, was a thing to do with fun. Now, travel impacts our performance, and a lot of employees are actually understanding that. Travel impacted our performance in the past. No one cared about it too much. Now we do. And then travel wellness programs, again, which are being implemented in various areas and for various groups of people. And sometimes what I've noticed in the past, the wellness programs, travel wellness programs were implemented at the C-level. Now across the entire company, that's what's happening. All right, so how can we get ready? So I want to provide you as much information as possible, but the number one thing I want you to know is we need to educate not only ourselves, but our employees as well. So this is where, when we are educated in all of this, what's happening and how to do things in a smarter, faster, easier way, the easier for us it is to make those educated decisions and grow our business. Because right now, many times I've seen it like, oh my goodness, my life depends on travel and I can't travel. But no one says you can't, right? I mean, you can travel, but you just need to know how to do it and grow your business in that smart way. Because if you know how to travel, if you know how to do it, you are not, stressed out as much, about that. Now you have the clarity. Now you have that time. Now you can focus on growing your business, creating a new plan and planning new things. So when it comes to getting ready, how can we do that? There are different areas we have to think about it. If you are traveling by plane, think about the new TSA rules. Now you can carry more of the liquid hand sanitizer with you. Think about insurance. Always have insurance for yourself when you are traveling, even when you are traveling on leisure. I personally buy for my leisure travel an annual package. I pay once a year that covers all my US domestic international travel. That's what I recommend, regardless where you go. That also prevents you from buying every time you travel somewhere, buying all those individual insurances, right? Insurance policies. I don't do that. I save money that way. Think about entry forms. There are a lot of different forms that we have to fill out. I have a slide about it. I'll be talking about it in a second. New rules with regards to, eating. What should we eat? I'm a certified health coach. I talk about, let me go back. I talk about food, what to eat, what not to eat, how to get ready, how to have a healthy meal when you are traveling. And trust me, it's not about eating greasy stuff before your travel or on the plane. You are not doing that. You should not be doing this. This is not healthy at all and has a lot of unnecessary consequences on your body and health when you travel, especially when you are 35,000 feet above, sea level. At the airport, when you are traveling, you want to carry your own food, you should take, see-through containers with you so that the contamination is eliminated or minimized. So that the officers who are checking your luggage or whatever, they don't need to go and open it, but they can see it. And of course, you have to remove it. Think about meals on the plane. When you are traveling or your employees are traveling, get them ready, get them healthy stuff. A lot of people have allergies, food allergies. this is what you can order, special meal for them as well. Doesn't cost you anything. Business lounges, a lot of us are traveling in business lounges, business class. Are they open? That's a good question, because they are not. Some of them they are open, some of them are not. And when I talk to my clients, I get them ready. I get them ready for the worst. So they are aware about everything. They need to know what to do. Many times I traveled intensively in July and August of this year, spent 2 months traveling within Europe, in the US domestic and international flights. Business lounges are not all of them are open, they are being closed. So you end up running from one terminal to the other or from one gate to the other to take advantage or, of the business lounge. But then again, there is no shower, there may not be food available and other things that you are used to. So be ready for that. How to pack, what to prepare. Many of us think that having a hand sanitizer and a face covering mask is an item number one, or items number one, right? And I agree with that, with you, if you argue, those are important things, but I would say the number one is the thermometer. I experienced it firsthand when I arrived at the airport. I live in Washington, D.C., in the D.C. area. I arrived to, back home from Europe, and I was traveling business class. I was the first on the plane. I was traveling with my daughter, and I was sitting by the window. And what happened, my body temperature was taken. And I was one of the first people. I didn't have a thermometer with me. I didn't know what my body temperature was. I didn't know I was hot, and my temperature was elevated. And the gentleman told me, oh, your body temperature is elevated. And guess what? All the people behind me, they heard that. And trust and rest assured, when I was collecting my luggage, there was no one around me. So that's why I always highlight that, thermometers should be taken with us. And one of a simple thing, I hope you can see me, is a body temperature that I recommend for corporations. A lot of corporations implement that. You just put it into your, forehead, you wait a couple of minutes, and this will be showing you the body temperature. So this is one of the tips and tricks that I want to share today with you. All right, what's next? So this is a form. When I work with my clients, I get them ready, like I said, for the worst. And this is where we go through those different forms and declarations and other things. Some airports may check your body temperatures, some may not. Washington, D.C. area was doing that in the summer. Now they are not doing that. But I want you to be aware, because in those declarations, they will ask you questions. What countries did you visit in the last 2 weeks, 14 days? So when I traveled to Europe, to the European Union, I had to tell them about those, that I was in the United States, right? They will ask you, where are you sitting on the plane? As you can see that. The one on the left, this form is when I entered the US in the Washington, D.C. airport, which was the international airport, Dallas. And of course, my body temperature was noticed here, and people took note of that. I didn't get that form. This one was when I entered Poland, because I traveled to Poland. I'm originally from Poland, so I visited my family there. And of course, I had to tell them which countries I visited, because I think it's on the top of the screen. It's cut right now, but you can see what countries you visited, but also what is your seat number and people who traveled with you. Same thing, this is European Union. When I traveled to Germany, I had to fill out a similar form. So I want you to be aware of those things and understand them. Many people come to me and they say, Edyta, when we traveled before COVID, those things are not new. So we were, we had those problems with, altitude. We were exposed to more sun when we traveled, air decompression, we were bloated. And that continues to do this as well, right? We continue to be bloated. We continue to be, when we travel, I hope some of you notice that our face is red. A lot of people pass gas because they don't know how to eat and what to eat properly. And we wonder, why do we have a stomach cramp, right? But a minute ago, we ate salty snacks and peanuts and pretzels and other things, and we can hardly breathe, right? Because at the 35,000, miles, whatever, above sea level, our body reacts to it in a totally different way, to the food. I also talk, about what to drink, what not to drink when you travel, and what should you be doing really, and for our health and well-being and overall performance and feeling good when we travel. Because how can you perform well if you ate something, you have a stomach cramp, and you feel sick? You can't do that. So when our body is compromised, our immunity is compromised, think about it in this way, right? We are already stressed out before we leave the house, we get on the plane, we ate something, we don't feel great, our stomach is bothering us, we may have a diarrhea, we ate something, we drank something. By the way, water on the plane is not boiled. So we are drinking this, tea and coffee, which is with unboiled water. Think about it. Some people may get a stomach problem like immediately. And then our health is sort of jeopardized. And then when our immune system is declining, our health is declining. When our health is declining, our performance is declining. So think about all that impact travel may have on our body. And we all need help, we need advice, we need education, we need how to do it, to be able to maintain that whole health and wellness and so on. All right. So far we've been talking a little bit about ourselves, our body, our health, how that impacts us. But what about our companies? So I want to share information about how to get ready, how to get your company ready, what to think about it, how to empower your employees, how to bring their new sense of confidence, that readiness, that they can travel, they can perform, they can plan, and they can do the things for you as they should be doing. All right, so let's start with this. And I want to highlight the fact that getting your company ready, your business ready, it is not a small task. It is not. A lot of people think, oh, I'm healthy. A lot of people think like, oh, I only run a small business, that doesn't impact me. This is not true. Getting ready, getting wellness, any type of wellness program, or any kind of a program, new program, takes time. Wellness programs are very interesting because I don't want to say it encourages you to think about, outside of the box, but there are a lot of very interesting things that are included in those wellness programs. And again, I'll be sharing that in a minute. And I always talk about the fact that those wellness programs have to start immediately, and it doesn't take a day or two, a week or not. It's not, because that's it's a comprehensive view and look at your business as it is today. Is looking at different procedures that you have in place or you don't. It's identifying gaps, wellness gaps in your current procedures and processes that you have. It's about looking at suppliers you are currently working with, and you may be working with great suppliers, but you may have preferred airlines, preferred hoteliers you are working with, transportation suppliers, but they may have programs you may not be aware of. And this is where I come, and this is where my company, we help identify those gaps, because we know what people can offer and are offering to other companies as well, right? It's about updating, informing all of your employees within the company, not on the top level people only, because we know, like I said, in the past, travel wellness programs were open only on the top tier, and that's not what's happening today. All right. Next one. I want to talk here in this about, not only the readiness, but the fact that travel wellness doesn't have to be expensive. And I demonstrate it to my clients all the time. It doesn't have to cost you a lot. And the travel wellness has to go beyond just, the ticket to, or whatever, entrance to the gym. Travel wellness, when you think about it, you have to survey your employees. You have to ask them what works for them. You may have people who may be lactose intolerant, have food allergies. You may have cancer survivors. You may have people who are gluten, intolerant, right? You have to pay attention to those things. You may have people who may have skin condition, but wellness is all about that. It's not only about telling people, go to the gym, you will feel better. It is not about just that. And you think about, the fact that many times probably now you furloughed a lot of people. Your people, you may have limited resources. You may think like, oh, I can do it myself. I can come up with this program, trust me. A lot of people tried. And without that advice, we try to do something, we make mistakes, we go in circle, and we are trying to do things, and it ends up costing us more money that we actually anticipated to spend, or we had our budget in mind and it didn't work that way. I will give you a simple example. Many companies, regardless of the size, they may allow or may not allow their employees to travel in business class, and that's okay. I'm not questioning that at all. But what's happening is, instead of paying for the business class ticket, an element of travel wellness will be spent $30, $35, $40 on access to the business lounge, where people may not have to travel in business class, but be in the economy class, but they will have more leg room. They will have more space. They will be in a place which is more sanitized, better sanitized. They will have access to the restroom, which is not busy and occupied all the time, right? They will have access to the meal of their choosing. And at the end of the day, you are saving money. Because when you think about that, if your employee gets himself a glass of wine at the airport, purchases like a meal, I don't know, a burger might cost you $15, right? A glass of wine, another 10, a dessert, another $5, $7, plus the internet, plus the other things. When you think about all of this, it all adds up. And when you think about giving him or her access to business lounge, not only that they will thank you for this, they will say, oh my God, you are really caring about my well-being. You are saving money, but of course you are not telling them that, right? But you are saving money as a business owner, savvy business owner, and person who cares about budget, right? So that's a simple example of solutions that I have. I have many, a lot of them, but this is just one of them that I share with my clients. And this one is like a no-brainer. And again, a proof that it doesn't have to be expensive. All right, communicate. You have to talk to your employees about travel wellness early. Again, like I said, it's more about it's the readiness. You have to get them prepared. They have to understand that, to give them that peace of mind. But also, it takes time, because sometimes you have to say the same thing 3 times, which is okay, right? To help them. They will be anxious because they will say travel doesn't only impact me, but also my family. Of course, that makes perfect sense. But talk to them about that, survey them, ask them, because you may be aware of some issues, or you may not be aware of some issues. I've been working with a lot of business travelers who are cancer survivors who never told their employers about those issues. They have special needs, and they complain that their employers don't care. And it's not that they don't care. They may not be sometimes aware, because if someone has suffered from cancer 10 years ago and he's feeling great, is looking great, and performing really well, it doesn't mean that that person doesn't have special needs. That person does have special needs. And we as employers, we need to know about it and cater to them. So understand what they need, what they're asking about, to be able to cater to them in the right way. One of the things that is important to people are those meals. So when they travel, find those restaurants around the hotel or resort where you are frequently staying, or you have a negotiated contract with, that are those, vegetarian, where they serve vegetarian meals. Think about it. You can sign a contract, a deal with a restaurant, and you will end up spending less, because you will have a prepackaged, meal, which will be good for different type of people suffering from different type of food intolerance, right? Think about that. Again, something that not only will prove to your employees that you care, and something that will allow you to save money as well, right? And it will boost the morale of your employees. That will give them the confidence and will empower them to do more for you, because they will say, my goodness, Maria, Christina, our boss, they really care. You know, that's super important. Think about that. Sometimes we have to tell our, employees, we do certain things because of different reasons. And some of the reasons will be, you can tie to company performance, financial benefits, you can tie to health, wellness, performance, you can tie, your messaging may be different. It depends on what you do, how important different points and items are for you. So those are the things. Encourage the dialogue with them and ask them questions. That's super important, that you need to keep in mind. One other thing is provide travel wellness kits and be creative. Think about different things. This thermometer, which I mentioned, is one thing which I already, presented. And this is one of the companies I've been working with is actually using. This is a real sort of case thing. Another one, people may be afraid to touch door or different things. You can give them a little hook like this of the type to help them open the door or their closet, cabinets, or whatever it is that they're doing in the office space. Because think about it, office space as well, or when they are traveling. This one is another one which if they are in the office during office, or when they travel all the time, they are wearing those face covering masks. And their ears, those areas are becoming irritated. If they put something behind like that, which also allows them to adjust the band, it's so much easier and, better to travel with that. But also face covering mask. I always talk about that. When we travel, we need to have more than one face covering mask, but also more than one type of the face covering mask. So this is something super important for you to remember. And I always talk about that when you travel, you have to have it at every single segment of your travel. So if you are traveling from LA to New York via Texas, Denver, and you have a layover, you have one face covering mask, from LA to Texas, and then from Texas to New York is another one that you should have with you and carry with you. All right, so I have to tell you, I know our time is limited, and I'm just looking at that. Our time is limited, I understand that. We just scratched the surface, and I want to make sure that we have time for questions as well. But there is so much to talk about. Nutrition, like I said, what to eat, what not to eat, what to drink, what not to drink, to be able to perform at your very, very best levels, because you are feeling well, you are healthy, you can perform then. You are not bothered by stomach cramps or other things that are happening to you. Radiation, what's happening with radiation, cosmic radiation at the airport when your luggage goes through the whole radiation. Productivity, how to be more productive. When we travel, we meet people all the time. We meet our business partners, we meet our prospects, clients, how to be productive, even more what we do. Talking about vitality, anti-aging, super important to a lot of us, right? We want to look our best. And so that people are, many of us, we're being judged based on our looks. Many of us are being judged even when it comes to getting a job or even hiring people. So that kind of stuff we need to keep in mind as well. So work with me. The way I work with corporations, assess wellness options. We are looking at step-by-step processes, and we are looking at the holistic approach. Things. And again, sometimes people come to me and they say, Edyta, I need to travel this weekend. Can you get me ready? Can you get my company ready? Next week, we have that event. That's not enough time. And now a lot of people are getting ready to go back to the office. Think about that. A lot of us are put on weight. A lot of us didn't take care of ourselves at all, didn't go to the gym. But we need to go back to the office to meet with our clients, to meet with our prospects, to meet with our suppliers. A lot of stuff we need to do and be more visible. And that's why, for that purpose, I created a free session, which is returning to the office, how to look and feel your very best, which is scheduled for December the 9th at 2 p.m. Just email me and say, Edyta, can you invite me to this session? And I will send you all the information. the invitation so you can register for it. Again, how to get ready to get back to the office, because like I said, we didn't go to the gym, we didn't take a good care of ourselves, we didn't do a lot of things, right? And sometimes I'll be also covering things like how to look good when you are in Zoom, when you have to, when people are looking at you, right? We know a lot of people are wearing pajamas, right, when they do, but it's all about, we're being judged, even, job interviews and so on. I also have something which I want to offer to attendees today. I have space for 3 discovery calls. So when you have questions and you want to dig deeper into your current situation, your company situation, you want to get into details, what can you do, what should you be doing, and so on. I have those 3 sessions, and I was supposed to put a link in the chat. Email me and say, Edyta, I'm interested in your free discovery session, and can we chat, right? I want to offer that to you. I have spot available for three people, 3 companies. Also, please email me if you are interested in this white paper which I created with regards to contamination zones. And it's not only about the contamination zones which are on the plane, which many people talk about, but the moment you leave the house. Let me go back to that, because this will be my last slide. But the moment you leave the house. So let me tell you, spend a minute on this. When we are traveling on the plane, the contamination zones are the most severe, are anything which is in front of us, is the screen, touch screen, the in-flight magazines, which today you will not see. So they are not showing us or giving us the in-flight magazines on the plane. Anything, the contamination zone number 2 is anything behind us, I always call this, which is the restroom, the place, everything in the bathroom. Anything number 3, anything above us is the contamination zone number 3. So those, air conditioning things, when we are touching, all of us are. Anything that we lean on, which is the window, which is the seat, everything. I always talk about, sanitizing that with the wipes. And the wipes we are receiving on the plane, every time we go back to the plane, on the plane, we are receiving those wipes. So I just want to talk about it. But the contamination zones white paper goes beyond the airline stuff. It's the moment you leave the house. It's the Uber ride. It's the metro. It's the train. It's everything in between. So I want you to know about it, think about it, because I have a ready to use a document. Of course, you can follow me on social media and be able to see what's new, what's latest. I do a lot of videos, short videos, like what to eat, what not to eat, how to get ready, what to pack on the trip. I do webinars about radiation, how to get ready, cosmic radiation and other types of radiation. I talk about people who have special needs, like cancer survivors. I talk about travel for them. I talk about what should you do. I do presentations about how to get ready to travel during the holiday season as well. So I do a lot of different webinars. All right, that would be my last slide. Tim, I think I've done it within the time which was assigned to me.
Well, thanks a lot, Edyta. That was great. We'll now use the remaining time for questions and answers. We'll take as many as possible up till 1 p.m. So please submit them via the chat feature in the lower portion of your screen. And so the first one is from Michael. I'm just a single person who may need to travel in the next several weeks. How can I find out if a specific country has rules about tests and quarantine upon arrival, or whether they may not even allow entry?
Good question. What I recommend to you, and this is what I've been doing for myself and my clients, I call the embassy. There are so many conflicting information. So what I do, I call the embassy, and I say, hey, I'm traveling to whatever your country. What are the rules? What should I be ready with? The embassy should tell you and even direct you to the right website for them, because they keep the websites up to them about a particular country restrictions, entry restrictions, passport requirements, visa requirements, and other things. That would be my best and safest sort of recommendation for you, because they need to be able to support travelers. And there are a lot of websites which are not updated. So that's one thing. The other thing is look at the airline you are traveling with, but airline will not always tell you everything what needs to be done. So I would really truly recommend the embassy as your very first point of contact. The CDC provides information, this kind of information as well, but my starting point always is an embassy.
So that's the embassy here in this country for that
Yes.
country, right? Okay.
Yes, call the embassy. You know, in Washington, D.C., you have all those embassies,
Yeah.
and just basically Google their website, say, hey, I'm traveling and this is my business or leisure. Tell me about the quarantine. Tell me about, you know, an immunization. Tell me about other things. Because remember, there may be some restrictions related to immunization, right, as well. It depends on the country you're going to. And CDC is very good at providing information about immunization.
Right. Okay. Vicky's asking what mask types should be provided to employees. Do you have a certain style? I guess there's a lot about the N95 mask or whatever. Do you have a certain brand or style that you provide to employees?
Very good questions. I tried a few of them, especially when I was traveling. Like a homemade mask works, but you need to think and ask the question, first of all, is the person, does she or he have any problems with breathing or not, right? We have to think about also, why are we wearing those masks? Many people, and I've seen it all the time, on the plane or in a public transportation, you have to have covered nose and mouth. And only when you are eating, you can, of course, like in a restaurant, you can take off your mask and then put it back. Even when you go to the bathroom on the plane, you have to have a mask. My recommendation is find a mask, talk to your employees that works for them. The N95 mask I was wearing, I couldn't breathe. That's why I'm saying, ask them if they have any kind of health condition. It is so close to your face, and some of you probably know it, you can't breathe. I've seen also people who wear this N95 mask, which is more expensive, and on top of it they put like the medical one-time use mask, because then they remove the outer layer mask, they throw it out and they keep this N95. But N95, which is so close, if you are breathing, this is, you know what I mean. This is, I don't want to say pollution, it's the germs and all of these things that you have, right? Think about also skin condition. So you have to think what's best for you. That's why I always recommend to use it at different segments of the trip. And even when you are here walking on the street, and also try different types of masks, because people may have different conditions, different requirements, different health problems.
Right. Got it. So there's another one here on, and the entry forms looked very interesting. The one on the left actually seemed to have a space where you write in a temperature in the box. I found that interesting. Are they using those for local flights as well? Because I know there's a lot of contact tracing that's being talked about.
I have to tell you, it depends where you go. And there may be places they can, there may be places they won't. And sometimes it even happened to me when I was ready that they will take my temperature, they didn't. But I started to travel with that body thermometer, so I'm no longer concerned and I'm no longer stressed out. Because think about it, if you see, the moment you notice your body temperature is slightly elevated, and I'm holding it here because it's like, they're touching our sort of, the temperature here, right? They measured our forehead. The moment it's slightly elevated, what do? You take a break, you rest, relax, take, drink cold water, go to the bathroom, go to refresh yourself, go to, splash cold water on your face, do whatever you need to do, sit down, relax, calm down, do that kind of stuff to do this. Overseas, there are different ways of taking body temperatures. You may go through a tunnel, or like machines that look like body scanning machines. It depends on the country as well. They will measure your temperature. You will not even know how, right? And when they did it, because in some countries they do this through that, some countries individually, some countries even offer you a COVID test for free when you arrive. US domestic flights, it depends on where you go on the state, and the trip. Airlines will help you with the information based on your preferred airline, based on the destination you go. the local websites will help you with this information too. But again, my job is to educate you and prepare you for the worst, so when you go there you are ready and it's like, oh, that was a smooth and worry-free trip.
Right. Yeah, so Nancy's asking, can you share the name of the thermometer that you were recommending? I think you were showing a strip thermometer that goes on your head, right?
Email me and I will tell you everything about that. I can't.
Oh, okay. Okay, got that,
It's a
Nancy.
public place, right?
Yeah, very good. So I would imagine that with everything that's going on with COVID, there's differences. I mean, people in this area, we have choices. We can go to the New Jersey airport. We can go to LaGuardia. We can go to White Plains. We can go to Bradley. Are people making decisions, to stay in their home state now when they're traveling to avoid, I guess, being quarantined in other states? I guess is that becoming a factor?
Very good question. So what I've seen and I noticed and and I experienced it firsthand. So for example, people traveled from Florida to New York, and in New York was a quarantine, right? Or is still there. The thing is, excuse me, what they did, instead of flying, they would take a train. Because for many businesses, travel depends, their life depends on travel. They need to go, they need to communicate. Think about employees whose job depends on travel. If he or she doesn't make commission, she makes the bare minimum, and that's important to them, and oftentimes they will go and change jobs or companies, and there are a lot of valuable employees that we have, and employees who want to be with us, and employees who are important to us. So many times what I've seen is they will take a train, again, simple destination. They would go, like I said, Florida, New York. So instead of flying, they will go Florida, Washington, D.C., or Philadelphia, stay a night in a hotel, and then take a train to avoid anything. And trust me, there no one is checking you. One other thing is, when you travel, think about, it's you, right? When you are making a decision, are you staying at home? Are you staying in the office? And you are quarantining, however you say it, I can't even pronounce it, or not, right? It's you. Many times, no one will impose that on you, and they will say, no one is monitoring me, I'm going to the office. And I've seen it, I've heard those kind of conversations all the time. I hear them all the time too.
So there's one question, they were wondering if the FAA is starting to regulate the safety, the cleaning of the airplanes, things like that. Are they voicing in, or is it mostly up to the airlines?
Very, very, very good question, I have to tell you, whoever asked the question. What's happening now, and I want you to know, is before COVID-19, airlines, they had their own sanitization and cleaning procedures. What they did in the past, they have like a checklist, and there will be like 14, 15 points, checkpoints, right, for cleaning. Those checklists now have twice as many checkpoints as they used to have. So that's one thing. They do a lot of sanitizing, but this is not regulated yet. This is what the travel industry does. So one airline is doing another one, and they try to prove who is better and who is best. What they started to do now to help with travel and get people travel more, they started testing people on COVID tests free of charge for volunteers when they get on the plane, and then when they get off the plane in the destination. And such tests were done by United on the routes like New York, London, where you can see people who they get off, and they say 100% people are not getting sick. There was not a single case that people would get sick on the plane. They also did new regulations, but it's airlines. They do things like filtration. So they have a different filtration system, which is very important. Now, what it was before, the air on the plane was fully, like almost everywhere recycled, except for one place. I always talk about that one place too. And then now they're sort of trying to do 50-50, recycled and fresh air. And all those HEPA filters, so they talk about, It's the same level of killing germs and whatever, like as it is in the hospital, right? So they are implementing that, which is great, right? It's all wellness, it's all health, which is important to us.
Very good. Yeah, talking about the airlines, that brings up the other question was, waiting to board, 100 to 200 people in an area about the size of 20 yards by 30 yards, let's say. It's impossible to stay 6 feet apart. Are the airlines doing anything to eliminate that crowded scene that's like a cattle car, I guess? Are they somehow spreading things out, or?
Okay, so very good question. First of all, you will not see as many people because the seats are limited now, sometimes to 40% capacity, sometimes to 50% capacity, so you will not see it. When people are boarding, you have those, every step at the airport, you have those little dots or whatever stickers. This is the place where you should be waiting, right? So you are not crowding, and people, trust me, people are not crowding. So they respect each other and the distance between themselves. Some airlines will, the groups, do you remember those groups? Like we have those, group 1, 2, 3, whatever. Now they started boarding from the back. So people who are sitting on the back go first, so they don't have to touch necessarily people who are sitting on the front. So sometimes even business class passengers have to wait, unless there is a business class cabin which has a separate entrance, right? But a lot of them started from the back, so you are loading from the back versus the front.
I would imagine that a lot of travelers are ditching the checked luggage as well, right? Just to avoid handling extra stuff for waiting in a public area as much as possible. So another tip for people probably be bring your own things like pens in case you need to sign something. You want to use your own pen. You want to eliminate the number of things that you're actually having to touch, right?
That's correct. Along with those see-through containers for food, if you want to carry our own food, bring those masks, bring your own hand sanitizers, bring your pens, pencils, or whatever you are using, because eventually you will be, filling out forms or whatever it is. Think about that, but think about also, beyond that, think about your health, moisturize. Especially ladies like to keep, themselves healthy and so on. Think about water. But sometimes water is not enough, and I always talk about the fact that water is not enough when we travel. So think about those extra things that you should be doing when that, like I said, multiple different types of masks, right? Sometimes people wear gloves. You want to wear gloves, that's okay too.
Right. So I think Connecticut has like a 14-day self-isolation if they're traveling, and I think that's all being left up to the individuals or the businesses to police, I guess. Do you see any kind of impact on employers when it comes to cutting back on travel because of that 14-day restriction? They can't do without the employee in the office for 14 days.
It depends, so think about it. If you want an employee, so whether the employee is in the office or the person is in, at home, you don't see it if the person will self isolate. A lot of people, what I've noticed is companies are renting, how do you call this, like apartments for employees who have to go through that quarantine. It's a space so they can have more than 3 people or 2 people or whatever at a time because they traveled at the same time, and it allows them for collaboration. So they're sort of a little bit separated, but they're working together. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't prevent them from not working together, because sometimes you need that collaboration if you are coming from different places and you have to sort of employers want to think about this kind of different solutions. So it will be, think about renting like Airbnb, simple thing like that, right? Or where you have a condo or an apartment, whatever it is, and then you have multiple people, travelers in that space at the same time, and they can collaborate together.
Right. So thinking ahead to trends, just travel industry in general, I'm getting the same feel as I did at 2001, that this is going to be something that's going to devastate the industry, and there's no coming back now that we have Zoom and we don't have to travel as much. Is this going to devastate the industry, you think?
I personally have to tell you, I have access to information about sales, travel sales and numbers. So let's say at the beginning of the year, they were like so high up. In March, they were like negative growth, right? Because there were a lot of cancellations and so on. Now it's spiking. It's spiking, spiking, spiking. I have to tell you, people are so desperate to travel because they want to travel no matter what. Think about people, the different demographics. There are a lot of millennials who are not afraid of things, right? They just go. Elderly people, people who have compromised immune systems, they will be at home. But people are eager to go on vacation, but they also are eager to travel on business. They want to meet people. They want to, socialize. They want to do other things. It will not recover at the level as what we had before. In the industry trends, when I'm reading and looking and listening to speakers, various speakers from the airline industries and so on, we see they say 60 80%, maybe by the end of next year of the capacity that they had before, but they're also looking for ways to monetizing empty spaces on the plane. So
Yep.
get ready for that.
Great. Thanks. As a reminder, a recording of this webinar is available within a couple of days on the fairfieldcounty.score.org website. Please check out the website for information on upcoming webinars. Again, SCORE offers free individual counseling, so please use the link on the screen or visit our website and click Request a Mentor. We are available for sessions via phone, email, video. Also, please fill out the evaluations that have been sent to you during the webinar. On behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending today's SCORE live webinar. And in closing, a big thanks to Edyta Satchell, our first-time speaker. Thanks,
Thank you.
Edyta.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
Bye.